Uncommon backgrounds, I mean things that are outside of the player's handbook, which we normally refer to for our character building. Hey, there you go, Jedi. Jedi's on Team Bright, apparently. When we get it, if the emote gets approved as it was sent, the code, that code will then spawn the image in chat. But obviously, it's not in there just yet. Soon. Fluffy, and you know what? So apparently Bright is on Team Jade. Hi, Maddie. Late Morgs in chat. Well, Diadems, yeah, I am. It was a boss battle over at D&D time. I had a very fun and very messy time over there. I don't know if you got to catch any of it or the strategy that I ended up employing. But if you did, okay, gotcha. So anyway, welcome. We're going to build our 4th character. You know, we'll talk D&D. If any of you want to crack open boxes of minis in the course of that, we can do so as well. Let's have some fun. It's Friday night. Then we'll get up, stretch our legs, take a break, and when we come back, I was a little late because of that. We're going to still make our character. We're going to do our homework. Because the good professor here, I still have to make a presentation. But we'll take a half day today. And when we finish up with D&D here, when we make this character, why don't we play some fun games together? And we'll just celebrate. Now, I'm still going to broadcast Saturday. We're still going to do homework on Saturday. But let's enjoy our Friday together. What do you say? I don't have BTTV, but it seems to work if you just type the code. It is probably showing up because my channel is like assigned, or like I have an account with them. So if you do type in the code of T and then not a space, but I'm gonna put like a slash, and then it's either Celine, Jade, Nora for Noralai, Mordecai, or Bright. Then that will make that avatar or that little emoji spawn. And then once it's approved, you'll be able to type in Fickle God, and that will make the emote that Coffee Cat just made tonight. It's a really solid looking one. That's thematic. We can use it for RIP. We could use it for on Tuesdays if people do if they are Fickle Gods, we could spam that as well and have some fun with it. But you know what? None of this would have been doable without your all's fun, your input, your support, without you all contributing to our conversation and our culture, and without you all subscribing, without you all, just without you, none of this would have been possible. It is I chose that because I think that people would have more problems with Noralai than with Mordecai. I was really on the fence about that one, Fluffy Sheep. So here, this is a little like behind the, this is the inside baseball of what, the serious business of a small-time streamer. I was on the fence about it. I'm like, should I go T-Mord? Would T-Mord, is Mordecai too complex? Because I think Noralai, especially with the 2 L's, or people go like AI or Noralee or something like that. So T Nora seemed to work because Nora is a popular name in itself. Mordecai, it's not a popular name. I think people might know it a little bit more. But one thing I do have to do is down below in the chat section, make a segment for all of our emotes that we're posting. And then as for the official Twitch emotes, I will hopefully have an update for you sometime over the course of the weekend. And we'll see. I'd like to get those submitted and approved so that for those of you who do subscribe or have been gifted a subscription, you'll have some fun emotes to play with. With which to play. There we go. That's a little bit more proper, isn't it? And, oh, one more thing. One more thing! As we were talking with Dragon Turtle Games for his Cyberpunk RPG here, his Kickstarter campaign finished earlier this morning, at least my local time. And take a look at this. Almost 3,200 backers, and he's definitely over 1,000% of his goal was funded. So DTG, I mean, I don't know if you watch this later in a VOD or whatever, or if you're going to see this on YouTube, but congratulations to you, sir. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us, and I'm really looking forward to being able to get a copy of this in, because you know what we're going to do on the channel? We're going to dig into it, and we'll discuss it. You can even be there for it if you'd like, and let's have some fun. All right, but let's go back to our dice roller, because we have a character to make in our very interesting party that is turning out to be kind of a party of explorers, a party of people who are searching for answers, people who are they're not content with the way things are in general or with their lives. Oh, all right, what's up, Jedi? Hello, Technotron.
Storm minis. Yes.
Yes. Well, Jedi, thank you. I guess you're going full house for a box of Storm King's Thunder. Tech is in the house. Yes, welcome, Technotron. Well, Tech, I guess you came at a very interesting time here, as we are going to bust into a box of Storm King's Thunder here. And these minis are going to be reserved for Jedi Crusader. So thank you for the support, Jedi. Let's see what we have in the box. And then this is my last box of Storm King's Thunder before I have to go into before I have my sealed brick of them that I can open up if you all want to support. Technotron, I think you'd be proud of me tonight. I was playing in a game over at D&D time, and we were defending ourselves in a siege, and instead of things like, you know, lead or boiling oil or the like, I had a bunch of bags of flour and oatmeal and pepper brought up to the ramparts. I used Gust of Wind to knock it all over and fill the air with this powder and to kind of like choke and blind them. And then I had my character cast Fog Cloud on the whole area to moisten everything and to make it like sticky and blinding, and it was a lot of fun. Okay. So, Jedi, your box is ready. Let's find out what's inside here. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So it's amazing what a gust of wind and a fog cloud. To be fair, I cast it at level 2, so it was a really big fog cloud. But it's amazing what all of that was able to provide. And like I gummed up the works, and you know, I was blinding all the sieging forces. It was quite an event. I had a ton of fun. So yes, diadems. I have one. All right, this Storm King Thunder is the last out of this brick. I have a sealed brick here that I can open into if any of you did want to buy one. Buy this one or more out of the other brick. All right, so Jedi Crusader. I love these little critters. An Intellect Devourer. By the way, if you ever intend on DMing run these little critters at some point in time. They may look harmless, but they are these little duders, Technotron or anyone else. I don't know if you have stories about running Intellect Devourers. These little duders can put in some work for you as a DM, and they can really make a battle interesting. I might not have let you get away with that, although it is a pretty neat idea. Every DM is different. So I'll ask this then, Fluffy Sheep. If I had proposed this to you, would you have told me no, or would you have let me do it? And if you had let me do it, how would you describe the scene? And I'm not saying this in defiance or in challenge, but I'm curious, as this description of me having set up bags of flour on the ramparts, and then, you know, blowing it all around in the air, letting it settle, and then getting everything wet with a fog cloud. How would you have dealt with that situation if you have a rebel like me at your table? All right, next up for you, Jedi, you have a heck hound. I mean, it's a hellhound, but this is one heck of a hound. You know, as a druid, this could make for a fun transformation. I mean, you may not be a hellhound per the stats, but you could do a lot. This could be a beast companion for a ranger. This miniature can do a lot of different things. Next up, we have I'm sorry to tell you this, Jedi. Your miniature collection has been infiltrated by the Yuan-Ti, and in this case you have a Yuan-Ti pureblood with a bow. And as you can see, not only does she have greenish yellow skin, being a Snek, but she's also wearing a green dress, so it's a little bit see-through. How scandalous and lewd. Yes, in fact, Technotron, the chat was saying, as soon as I described what I was setting up, and they know that my sorcerer has fire powers, that was the first thought, was that I was going to fill the air with flour and I was going to set it on fire, making like a supersized, like an explosion or just almost like a dry napalm kind of an effect. And so as I was seeing that in chat, I'm like, oh, you have no idea. I mean, you have an idea, but I had hoped that the fact of adding moisture to like oatmeal and flour to kind of gum stuff up and make things kind of sticky or slippery. I thought that was like a good gotcha, moment. I thought that was what you're going to do, go all Goblin Slayer on the flour. Well, hey, Jedi, if I caught you for a surprise, then I'm glad. All right, now, lastly, Jedi, you went all in, and I'll tell you, you have a heckin' chonker in this box. And specifically, seriously, this has got to be a pound or two. You have a hill giant with a spear. This is a thick boy right here, okay? 2 C's BOI. This is a thick boy. And so here's our Yuan-Ti, like a normal-sized character, right? Let's put our normal-sized character up next to this hill giant, and you can see how far up she. You can see how far up that she. Like rises on the giant. So congratulations on that, Jedi. I hope that you enjoyed your pull, and thank you for supporting the channel with that. And there we go. Oh, hey! Katie Sue is raiding. Awesome. Well, welcome, Katie Sue. Oh, you just missed me busting open a full box of Storm King's Thunder for Jedi Crusader, who got a heckin' chonker of a hill giant who was carrying a spear. That was a heavy box, too. That is a lot of plastic. And my headphones died, so gotta plug them in. Doomfish, she left us on a cliffhanger again. Well, that just means that you have an excellent DM who keeps you coming back for more. So hopefully you have thanked Kitty for running an awesome game and being an awesome DM, and that, you know, you'll show up and you'll be all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed for the next session when you find out what happens. On the next episode of Katie Sue. Bobo, welcome! Hi, Bobo. I thank her every day. There you go, Doom. We are doing very well today, Bobo. I had a great session that I could play in, not DM in. I had a great session to play in, and now we're going to be working on a character, on a random character build. We popped open a box of minis. Look, Katie came and raided us. People are showing up. It's Friday night. We have a lot of good energy going on. Well, I guess it's Saturday morning. I guess technically it's Saturday morning. It's after midnight here in my time zone, but... So, happy Saturday morning to you. I hope you're in your pajamas, eating cereal that's bad for you and watching cartoons, Bobo. Treat yourself to a good Saturday morning. And Elbren, thank you very much for the host. Where's the pizza and drinks? I didn't have pizza tonight. I had deer and scrambled eggs. With some cheese melted on it. It was ground up deer like hamburger. The Switch time warp makes it only Saturday where you are. Oh, that's true. So it is, that is Fluffy Sheep. It is still Friday. It's still Friday night for you. Well, then party it up. While us people, you know, living all cool in the future, get to be in our jams, eating cereal that's bad for us and watching cartoons. But of course, it's part of a balanced breakfast. It's just that, you know, everything else has to be a small portion and good for you, except the cereal. Thank you, will do. Just decided to pay for the Origin Premium so I can try out Anthem, but 2 hours till it's done downloading. Oh, well, I hope it'll be a fun game for you. And you know what? If you have an opinion about it you want to share, you could do so here or on our Discord too. You know, we do primarily tabletop, but, you know, you can talk about video games and other things. You know, is there a hobby that you're enjoying talking about it? Or are you enjoying a hobby? You can talk about it here. But, hey, if it's 2 hours, you know what, Bobo, that's going to be enough time to make a character with us. So stick around, and if you have input on whoever we end up making, then please... throw your ideas into the arena. Apex Legends is kind of fun. I'm just not very good at competitive FPS. It is making a splash. I think people are interested in the newness. Time will tell. It does have loot boxes, but it's also a free-to-play game. Oh yeah, and Jedi's been currently playing Sea of Thieves. I'm glad you're really enjoying that, Jedi Crusader. All right, I rolled a 39 on percentile. And by the way, I'm not transitioning to this as a way to, like, oh, I don't want to talk about that. I can work and chat at the same time. So we have a female character. And this female character is of the race of, let's roll a d10. 3, a halfling. And I'm going to roll this again for odds or evens. 8, evens. We have a Lightfoot Halfling. A female Lightfoot Halfling that is of the alignment. We're going to roll 2 percentiles. 33 and 33. What are the odds? So 33 and 33 is going to put us into neutral good territory. NG for neutral good. By the way, we're a small character, SMOL. We are going to make her at level. Let's roll a percentile. We rolled a 64. That is going to be level 15. Oh, so close to another stat bump at 16. Well, of the stat bumps she gets, let's find out how many we're going to replace with feats. And we're going to roll a percentile for that. 86. 3. Well, you know what? That's what she has. Level 4, level 8, and level 12. And almost level 16. So, feats. 1, 2, 3. We know, well, we kind of know which background. At least we know the source of her background. We'll come back to this in a second. So I'm going to leave this background slot open. So that way we can reference the Sword Coast Adventurers Guide in just a little bit to fill it in. We'll do Michael AFK to grab food, but I'm up at this hour. You know I try and catch you stream. Yes, Bobo. Look, you've been an early adopter of this stream. And I'm very grateful and thankful that we have been able to provide you opportunity to, you know, learn, enjoy yourself, to have a community that, you know, you can be friendly with and really open up and, you know, be the nerd that we all know you are. You know what? So Diadems, I did talk to Coffee Cat saying that perhaps a soapbox emote would be next. There is actually there is a soapbox emote that I might be able to scale and use already that our own dear Miss Awu made a while ago in our first year of broadcasting. Rightel says, I'm super bad at Battle Royale games. That's why I'm playing Tetris 99. Wait, hold on. Yeah, that's that's Battle Royale Tetris, huh? Interesting. Interesting. I love the one he was working while I was there earlier. Oh, you're talking about the Fickle God one? I enjoyed that as well. Or did he make another emote after that one? Alright, background will determine. So now we're going to come down to class. We're going to roll a D12, the big golden button right here. And with our D12, let's find out which class she'll be. We rolled 1. We have a Barbarian. A female Lightfoot Halfling Barbarian. And I'm going to roll this one more time to see if we have a Berserker Barbarian or a Totem Warrior Barbarian. We rolled evens. We have a Totem Warrior. Barbarian, Totem Warrior. Okay. And now, before we close this and go over to the Sword Coast Adventurers Guide, we see that halflings start at 2 feet 7 inches. We're going to add 2d4 inches to her height, which is 8. There we go. So we are 2 feet 15 inches tall. So we are 3 foot 3. 3 feet 3 inches of fury. Then we're going to take that same 8 and add it to her base weight of 35 pounds. And so she weighs 43 pounds. And lastly, we're going to roll a percentile die and find out how old she is. We rolled a 51, so on our chart, she is an adult. An adult halfling, so here's column 3. Halflings, she's between 71 and 110 years old. So let's generate a 40-sided die and roll it. She is 90 years old. There we go. Look, if we made another venerable character, just the age could change so many aspects of the character's personality and history, right? That would change our consideration and perception of the character. A Shinling Barbarian, says Elbrin. Isn't a halfling barbarian an oxymoron? Halfling barbarian totem warrior is a sneaky good character build. That was one of the concepts I had for the Tuesday game. You know what? Now that you say that, Fluffy Sheep, that you ran 3 by yeah, I think you ran 3 by me as we were talking. Like, well, you know, we're hemming and hawing a little bit. And well, you know what? If we're building this character and you have an idea for her and you want to throw it out there, you know, you're welcome to do so. All right, so she is an adult. We can put this away now. Here's our Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide. Backgrounds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm going to roll a d12 and we're going to find out which background is hers. 10. 12, 11, 10. She's an urban bounty hunter. Before you became an adventurer, your life was already full of conflict and excitement because you made a living tracking down people for pay. Unlike some people who collect bounties, though, you aren't a savage who... says to the barbarian. You aren't a savage who follows quarry into or through the wilderness. You're involved in a lucrative trade in the place where you live that routinely tests your skills and survival instincts. What's more, you aren't alone as a bounty hunter in the wild would be. You routinely interact with both the criminal subculture and other bounty hunters, maintaining contacts in both areas to help you succeed. And there's a lot more fluff there, and I'd urge you to read it. I would urge you to read it. I have it on screen, and it'll be up on screen for a little bit longer. This is going to give us skill proficiencies. Choose 2 from among Deception, Insight, Persuasion, and Stealth. Ooh. So maybe we should flesh out her personality a little bit more first, and then we can see in which direction her skills will take her. Tool proficiencies. Now we get to choose 2 tool proficiencies. From among gaming set, musical instrument, and thieves. Oh, pardon me, where'd this come from? That was random. Musical instrument or thieves' tools. And equipment, a set of clothies appropriate to your duties, and a pouch containing 20 gold pieces. So, I mean, I don't know if that would just be like traveler's clothes or something, or even a costume. That's something to speak, with which you should speak to your DM about. Belt, pouch with 20 gold. Our background feature is ear to the ground. You are in frequent contact with people in the segment of society that your chosen quarries move through. These people might be associated with the criminal underworld, the rough and tumble folk of the streets, or members of high society. This connection comes in the form of a contact in any city you visit, a person who provides information about the people and places of the local area. Hey, for having a group of hunters, whether it's bounty hunters, treasure hunters, or the like, or tomb raiders, I don't know, that sounds like a dumb name. A dumb name for like a group or an individual. Having someone with contacts, that's good. Someone watching the stream probably yawned. See, that has to be it. Who was it? Who out there yawned and caused me to yawn? Come on, I saw it. I apparently I saw it through your monitor or something. Maybe the yawning portal brought out the tumbled wench. Oh, Fluffy, I appreciate your humor. And I also missed, this was one of the less developed concepts, and when I heard that Tazray was going to exist, I kind of dropped it. Well, then somewhere in another world, we have a Barbarian Bright. In fact, hey, if you want, you could always bring that up to Derek or Coffee Cat. Because I know Derek was talking about having an alternative character to Jade in case something happened. you could work with them and see if they're willing to draw the alternate reality party of a barbarian bright and and a let's see, Derek's, instead of playing Jade, was a knight. A fighter knight. Maybe an Eldritch knight with the noble/knight background. Give her a +1 on that. Uthgard is great for this one. Well, it seems like here that Uthgard is its own thing. That said, I have Uthgard Barbarian miniatures in the orphanage. So, like, if you want to be an Uthgard Barbarian, there's specifically a mini for you for that one. Okay, suggested characteristics. Use the tables for the criminal background in the player's handbook as the basis for your bounty hunter's traits and motivations.
Oops, my finger slipped.
Oh, Jedi. Well, apparently this is gonna kill off the last of this brick of Storm King's Thunder, and then whoever gets first dibs or a full house out of the second brick, you can roll a d8, or you could just choose a number 1 through 8, and that'll be the first box. Oh, the little Yori is above the chat in the Z order. The little Yori is above the chat in the Z order. I am not sure I'm following that question mark. My voice is going up at the end. All right, so we need to go over to our player's handbook, chapter 4, backgrounds. And now for her personality traits, her ideal bond and flaw, we are prompted to use criminal. (2d8), 7 and 3 for personality traits. Now we're going to roll 3d6, 6, half of 6 for her ideal bond and flaw. And hey, Fabrizi, welcome. And hello, Coffee. Coffee, the emote was submitted, and so we'll see how long it'll take for it to be approved. And I put it under the name Fickle God. And so you'll be able to type in capital F Ickle, no space, capital G odd, and then if this emote and the tag is approved, we'll be able to summon the Fickle God here in chat through BTTV. All right, so we have this urban bounty hunter. She has this ear to the ground, so she's a contact in every city for information. A totem warrior barbarian female Lightfoot Halfling. Her personality traits are thus: the best way to get me to do something is to tell me I can't do it. This works for her very well, and it also reminds me of the Dog the Bounty Hunter memes that have been going around for a while as well. Can you imagine just this little 3'3" barbarian throwing a chair in aggravation? Anyway, and number 3 is: the first thing I do in a new place is note the locations of everything valuable. Now, maybe we want to change that word out, so she's not casing it for valuables, or if she is, she's casing it for valuables to know where she should look if something goes wrong because someone probably stole it. Or it's kind of like that Jason Bourne, how he doesn't know why, but every time, he always has to sit facing a door, and he memorizes all the license plates of the cars as he walks up to the restaurant or whatever. This is a part of her personality. Or where such things could be hidden. And that could even include where people are hidden, right? If you're a bounty hunter, look, I watch Stephen FRA, Stephen FRA for Federal Recovery Agent. He's a bounty hunter out of Kansas City, Missouri. And he streams himself apprehending, he goes on bounty hunts. And it's very fascinating to watch. I would recommend his channel to all of you out there. Stephen FRA, Stephen FRA. And you could see someone bounty hunt live. He has a GoPro, and there you go. Yeah, it's interesting to see where people hide from him as he comes a knocking. Check the memes channel for my take on this character. Well, let's head over to the Discord real quick. What I see... Oh, isn't that cute? It's like a little chibi, kind of like My Little Pony version of Frank Frazetta's Death Dealer. You're good, you. You're good, you. You can't be as tall as a human, says Jedi. And yeah, I saw you were working on something else. Unfortunately, Coffee, I was in a boss battle during D&D time. So I'm sorry I wasn't as responsive as I was for the other emotes. But I did get to glance in, and I've almost hit all the affiliate goals. Yeah. Which, by the way, Coffee Cat is making a push to become affiliate. And so, Coffee, you tell us what you need, and let's help you step up and reach affiliate. All right, the ideal of this character is number 6, Redemption. There's a spark of good in everyone. So she hunts people not just for the money or to rough people up as sort of a way to express herself, but she does it. Look, if I bring you in, you serve your time, do so and be a better person. And here's some advice. And let's go from there. And I think that fits her personality really well. Bonds, number 6. Someone I loved died because of a mistake I made. That will never happen again. Uh-oh. Well, a bond certainly ties you into the story that's being presented at your tabletop. And this up here, if this isn't a hook into the story or the world, I don't know what is. So now we have someone else to consider. Who died? And what was the relationship? Was it a lover? Was it a spouse? Was it someone in her family? Was it just a really good friend? Or was it someone... maybe it's a guilty pang. Maybe, she went and she hunted down someone, look, the worst of the worst. Absolutely miserable. He committed atrocious crimes. She caught this person and is bringing him in, and maybe mob justice or something happened, and this person died in her custody on the way back to face justice. And even though she doesn't love him in that respect, she feels guilty about this death because she could have prevented it. And now, the person's dead, yeah, but justice hasn't necessarily been served. We could take this in so many different directions. 3 more days and keep average viewers up. Hey, there we go. Yeah, look, Coffee's responsive to chatter, and feel free to ask questions or just sit back and lurk and enjoy. It's a really cool experience. Coffee, I love your music selection. So let's give Coffee Cat Comics the push to affiliate. And if all you need is people to show up and watch, make sure you list in our Discord. And I know I'll tell you as much as I can. I'll show up, and not just for the work that you've been putting in for us here in our community. First thing I thought is that some criminal took advantage of the redemption ideal to get free. And hey, that's another good take on it, Fluffy. So she was manipulated by a criminal who did escape and went on to kill someone, and she could have prevented that by bringing this person back in, you know, and putting him in jail or, you know, the justice system. That's a great idea, Fluffy. And lastly, we have her flaw, which is number 3. We are all flawed creatures, and hers in particular is, if there's a plan, I'll forget it. If I don't forget it, I'll ignore it. So she flies by the seat of her very small pants. She may look around and note where things or people are, but it doesn't mean that she has everything worked out. She just knows where things are for the sake of awareness. So this is showing some confidence, maybe some cockiness. This is the worst flaw. What, in a story about, you know, teamwork and togetherness? But maybe she herself can be redeemed, right? Because look at this. She believes in redemption, but she carries regret. So she hasn't redeemed herself. She hasn't forgiven herself. And especially with a flaw like this, I mean, we're setting this character up to have tremendous character growth. And that's not just a short joke. This character at level 1, or we're generating her at level 15, there's so much potential in her to take her in a lot of different directions. Party comes up with a stealth mission plan. She does her own thing and gets everyone caught. And by doing so, she clearly meant to, because she doesn't have a plan, but she has a reason. Now, if it came down to, you know, a life or death, this character doesn't come across as the type that just goes, I'm wacky, and is just going to go, you know, tiptoeing through the tulips in front of a bunch of guards. But it is showing that she doesn't like to plan things out. In fact, what if that plays into that someone died? You know, what if she was a by the books bounty hunter? You know, everything was done by rote, you know, rote memorization. She took the same avenues, she took the same whatever, and that actually led to the death, or, you know, or the escape. You know, someone kind of found a routine, or her routine wasn't perfect and someone slipped through the cracks. And that's actually when she had her first sort of alignment shift of, well, you know, structures can only collapse, but if I just sort of keep a pile going, then, you know, there's cracks, but the cracks are meant to be a part of it, and I can address them. And I can be familiar with the cracks instead of just blindly trusting in a system. If all else fails, meet back at this tree. 2 hours later, where are we meeting again? Jedi, yeah. All right, so here we go. This is we have our character's character. It is now time to break away from the background and explore, you know, who are we as a halfling? Besides an awesome bard that just wants to sing and rock out. I love this picture, by the way. I know I say it often, and I mean it often. The times I don't know. All right, our dexterity score increases by 2. And there we go. We are small. We have a 25-foot 25-foot run speed, 12 climb, 12 swim, 0 fly. We are lucky, everyone. We can re-roll 1s. It's very nice. We are also brave. We have advantage on saving throws versus being frightened. So up here to advantages, I'm going to put versus frightened. Halfling nimbleness. You can move through the space of any creature that is of a size larger than yours. We are going to speak common and halfling. And our subrace, pardon me, is going to increase our charisma by 1. And we are also naturally stealthy, which is an interesting compliment to our warlock, who is unnaturally stealthy. Fluffy says, yeah, you could play this off as a sort of never tell me the odds thing, but because it's specified as a flaw, it's kind of encouraging the player to spoil the party goals. And so that would, I think that would prompt a conversation between the player character and the DM for sure. And by the way, Jedi, I haven't forgotten about your box. We'll get to it here shortly. Are you good to stick around for a little bit longer? I can move through the space of a Goliath, but not the space of a gnome. Yes, as the, it just has to be bigger than you, huh? No rush? All right, Jedi. Ooh, pardon me. Who out there yawned? Fluffy Sheep said it best. One of you just yawned out there, and it went through Twitch back at me. Naturally stealthy, you can attempt to hide even when you're obscured by only a creature that is at least one size larger than you. And there we go. Yay. We are a halfling, and now we must become a barbarian. Barbarian of 15th level. This is what we're working with. Our proficiency bonus is +5. And we are going to get to rage 5 times a day with +3 rage damage. We have 15 D12 hit points. Barbarians are a D12. We're level 15. Put them together. What do you have? Bippity boppity boo. We have proficiencies with light and medium armor as well as shields. Light, medium, and shields. Next up, simple and martial weapons are her friends. No tool proficiencies. In our background, we got to choose our tools and skills. And so we'll do that here real quick. Our saving throws are strength and constitution. And we'll get to choose 2 skills from animal handling, athletics, intimidation, nature, perception, and survival. Well, some of those might overlap. Let's go to Sword Coast Adventures Guide real quick. So choose 2 from deception, insight, persuasion, and stealth. Done running 12. Well, thank you so much for that host. Well, hopefully that's not premature and you all are caught in ad purgatory. Done running. When you're here, let me know so I can properly thank you. Redemption. So I'm thinking insight and persuasion will really hit up that redemption aspect of the character. Yeah, that's quite the raid. Oh, whoa. And by the way, that's another thing that I would like to have made as an emote too, Diadems, is to get an oh, whoa for surprises, like when we pop open boxes and minis and such. So done running. If you're through Ad Purgatory, welcome. Thank you very much for that host. And welcome to any of you who came over with it. All right, so persuasion and insight. Now let's hop back over to the player's handbook. And we have animal handling, athletics, intimidation, nature, perception, and survival. If she's looking for people as a bounty hunter, let alone as casing a place out for people or whatnot, I think perception is definitely going to be one of them. And she's an urban bounty hunter. I don't know if survival can be tracking as well. It's not just, finding food and water. Just to tell me I can't do it. I want to say athletics because you know what? She's a short stack. She's 3'3". And so maybe her whole life people have said, you know, what are you going to do? You're going to climb that wall? You're going to jump from rooftop to rooftop? You can't do that. And yet here she is doing it. You know, maybe she wasn't strong enough to help remedy the situation that is her bond. She has confidence in her strength, so she doesn't need a plan. She has her muscles. Now, if you think differently, let me know. But I think that these 4 skills really flesh out the character very well. Hey, there we go, Done Running. Welcome. Athletics is a nice choice, so could Intimidation. Those are... what's scary, Done Running? Loving the background music. What are we making here? All right, so... the background ambiance. So we are on tabletopaudio.com, and this is the Goblin Cave. And as for what we're doing, well, we're primarily a workshop stream, and so tonight's workshop, we are making, well, really, this has been the culmination of a week. We've been making characters with uncommon backgrounds. So everything else has been done with our random roll guide that we've developed on the channel, right? So we're developing full characters, believable. You know, they have stories. It's very role playing. It's meant to roleplay, not just for the mechanics, but we discuss the mechanics as well. So going through this process, we then have been applying other backgrounds than what's in the player's handbook. So here's our haunted one, which is in Curse of Strahd. We have an archaeologist and an anthropologist who are from Tomb of Annihilation. And this character we're currently working on, her urban bounty hunter, is from the Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide. Since she's Lightfoot and has +1 charisma, Intimidation might be relatively better. Plus, she seems like a more social than average barbarian. That's fine as well. We can move it from athletics to Intimidation. You know, Intimidation is athletics with charisma. Do you want to give her... Hey, Derek. Do you want to give her... do you want to give her a low strength? Do we have a low strength barbarian? Or I'm not sure what's going on, Elbrin. Okay. No, we haven't done stats yet. That is correct. Oh, yeah, it was on one of the other ones we were clicking through. Yeah, there we go. That was on Fistus Melodia, who is our female rock gnome College of Lore bard archaeologist. Yeah, Derek. By the way, for those of you on our Discord, and hey, welcome to anyone who's new here. You know, if any follows or if you come and join us on Discord, you can see that we do a lot more workshop and talking. I want to show off in our weekly art prompt. So Darkwolf and Derek made submissions for this week's prompt of what does your magic missile or Eldritch Blast look like when it's cast. And Derek just recently posted this one up. And if you see him play Jade on Tuesdays, every time he casts Eldritch Blast, this is the shape that force manifests as and flies out to impact Jade's enemies. Yeah, Fluffy. Yeah, I agree. We also get to choose 2 from among a type of a gaming set, a musical instrument, and thieves' tools. Well, given her criminal contacts, I think we can give her tool proficiency with thieves' tools. And if she believes in redemption, someone I love died because of a mistake I made. If there's a plan, I'll forget it. If I don't forget it, I'll ignore it. At the same time, though, with a gaming set, I feel that could get her into gambling dens or sort of get some street cred for being able to know or run street games, you know, like a 3-card Monte, shell games, and stuff like that. So an instrument would be interesting. I almost want to say that some kind of a gaming set. You know, does she go and visit Magneto in a plastic prison and play chess with him after bringing him into justice? We are going to get some starting equipment. We can start with a great axe or any martial melee weapon. 2 hand axes or any simple weapon. An explorer's pack and 4 javelins. Now, barbarians are proficient with shields. That's not in the starting pack. Could you bat your eyes and say pretty please to your DM and have you start with medium armor and or a shield and or even light armor? Probably. You know, if you're pitching it that you've been a bounty hunter for some time, you probably have your gear set to go. But we're going to play this by the rules in the book with that aside of communicate with your DM and don't be afraid to ask for concessions if they make sense to the character in the story. So I don't know what her weapon of choice is going to be. But I'm going to put a placeholder, some martial weapon here. What would you want her weapon of choice to be? She's going to get 2 hand axes or any simple weapon. It could be interesting if we give her a light crossbow, because I think we could. I do see her as being a partial dex bard as well, maybe. But I'll put a martial and a simple. In fact, she could even be like a 2-handed, like a 2-weapon fighter. And javelin X4, as well as an explorer's pack. Impact millions of tiny impacts, high velocity, also known as a table saw. Ripping people to shreds 1 Tuesday at a time, says Coffee Cat. Elbrun says, we could go high charisma, but I'd be more likely personally to go with 15, 14, 10, 12, 8, 13. Well then, hey, keep that in mind for when we drop our stats in. I think she should take 8 in wisdom and at least 12 con. Depending on whether she wants to be unarmored, she might need the 14 in con. As small as she is, a battle axe could be a half and a half weapon. Oh, a hand and a half. Diadems, you're thinking to go with the 2 hand axes? Maybe 8 int. I'm always looking for reasons for barbarians not to have 8 int, but she's more perception than investigation, so she needs some wisdom. Yeah, in this case, you know what? So in this, I understand that that need to break the trope of, you know, me crunk barbarian. Having an 8 intelligence doesn't mean that she's, she's not stupid. She doesn't have to say, me Brenda barbarian. But it's playing into the fact that she is more common sense, street sense. Maybe she didn't get a formal education, but she knows the deals. She knows who to talk to. She knows where things are generally hidden. And it would make sense for her to be low intelligence because maybe she didn't receive a formal education. And so we're not doing it for the sake of having a Brenda Barbarian. We're doing it for the sake of it's appropriate for the character. Like an 8 int would be you dropped out of high school. Maybe you have some high school. Or, you finished middle school, but you never went to high school. Or an 8 int is almost like your average commoner who has very little schooling. I guess that's what I was talking about anyway. All right, so we have our rage. Now at level 15, I already looked ahead. We can rage 5 times a day, and we get +3 damage while we're raging. There's a whole list of things that you get while raging, and I would urge you to read it. If you're playing a barbarian, it's not hard to keep track of, but every time we make a barbarian, I don't want to have to go through the minutia. But read rage, because this is your huge class feature. We do have unarmored defense, where if we're not wearing armor, we get con plus dex plus 10 as our armor class. And a shield can be added into that. The Totem Barbarian I want to play is an 8 charisma, says Coffee Cat. She's not very good with people at all. Oh, Coffee, before you came here, and Derek, same for you. Fluffy Sheep was talking about that this was an alternative character to Bright before the game started. And so a female halfling, a female Lightfoot Halfling tribal warrior barbarian is Bright in another game dimension. And you know, Derek, you're talking about your alternate character that you've been having in mind. And I thought that would be interesting if either of you or anyone else out there wanted to draw like what's the Elseworld party made of? You know, Bright is a barbarian and Jade is you're a human Eldritch Knight, noble/knight is your background. Never realized they revamped the character sheets. Just got the new ones. Oh, so the ones that we're using you can find here. But if you do want the traditional ones, you could type in ! char sheet and it'll have a link to it. Halfling barbarians will almost always have a shield because small creatures have few two-handed weapon choices. Yes, Fluffy. Oh, all right, Triad. You're on it. Derek, I'm not sure what Jade would become in an alternative world. I like to think happy housewife. Well, so that was the nightmare that I presented to her on Halloween. But I meant because you're talking about having a backup character or a secondary character. That was kind of Fluffy's concept before choosing Bright as the gnome divination wizard. So somewhere out there, there's these alternative characters that are these different races or classes, and so we know Bright to be, as illustrated, and yet now we have a Bright that exists that is this barbarian who's slowly turning like feral in appearance because she's taking on the aspect of animal spirits. Probably not a vegetarian. Maybe, though. I don't know. I think Jade would probably be a sage rogue. Oh. Will come in handy when redoing certain already made characters to make them the masters for the class schools. Yeah, those alternative character sheets, Triad, they're really nice. Still a vegetarian, peanuts beware. We get reckless attack. We get advantage by offering advantage for others to hit us. Hopefully we have the hit points to soak it up. We get danger sense, which is great because not only do we have strength and con proficiency bonuses, this is kind of like a roundabout dexterity proficiency bonus in a way. I mean, it says advantage. That might mechanically be better, at least until you get to where we're at with a 5 proficiency, since advantage and disadvantage is +5 or -5 statistically. All right, we're going to get our primal path. I'm not going to worry about that just yet. Let's look at what we get just for being a barbarian. We are going to get an extra attack. And we're going to get fast movement, meaning we're now up to 35. 35 feet. So we're a quick little halfling. We get feral instinct at 7. Are so honed that you have advantage on initiative rolls. Oh, another good reason to have a high dex, right? And if you're surprised at the beginning of the combat and aren't incapacitated, you can act normally on your first turn, but only if you enter rage before doing anything else. We also get brutal critical. So there we go. We get extra damage dice on a crit. At level 11, we get Relentless Rage. If you drop to 0 hit points while you're raging and don't die outright, you can make a DC 10 con saving throw. If you succeed, you drop to 1 hit point instead. And at level 15, which is what we're at, just sneaking that one in there, Persistent Rage. Your rage is so fierce it ends early only if you fall unconscious or if you choose to end it. She's just upset all of the time. Alright, now it's time for our archetype features. This is Path of the Berserker. We're skipping over it. We are a Path of the Totem Warrior. Brutal critical. Oh, lots of fun for that, yeah. Yeah, my monsters deeply regret brutal critical. Your monsters regret it in the fact that you are running for players that are critting often, Fluffy Sheep. Triad asks, since they're going to be NPCs and not going out on adventures and such, how much detail is needed? Is that for the exercises we're going on right now, or what's the context of your question, Triad? All right, Path of the Totem Warrior. This is where we take on aspects of animals. It's kind of like a caster barbarian. You're not a caster barbarian, but you're a caster barbarian. Or think of it kind of like it's a barbarian lightly fused with a warlock, because your animal spirit is providing you these invocations. Though these invocations do, they manifest on you and they can change your appearance. You know, if you want and or your DM wants. They don't have any particular critical hit bonus. Yeah, it's just really painful when those 20s do come up. Sorry, for the Masters of Class Schools. I don't... Are you still referring to the character sheets? Oh, wait, no. Try it. I remember. You said that... Yeah. So you were working on a project where you're taking each of the 12 classes, and then you're making an NPC not just for the classes, but for the subclasses. And you are and so you're going to have these be present in the world as NPCs. I remember you talking about this. So sorry for my temporary mental derp here, Triad. You don't necessarily have to put a ton of detail into it. In fact, the DMG offers a way to build NPCs that are still meaningful but don't have a ton of information about them. If you do want to be very specialized, then go through this process, right? In fact, the random roll guide that we use is on our Discord. It's pinned. It should be pinned. And you can download it and use it. That way, if you want to develop these NPCs, you already know the class, but, is it male, female? What's the background? And what are some ways that this person would exist in the world? And then you can make these characters off of that and present them in your game however you'd like. Alright, so at 3rd level, we get the ability to cast the Beast Sense and speak with animal spells, but only as rituals as described in Chapter 10. So this is Spirit Seeker. We are going to get Beast Sense and speak with animals. Also at 3rd level, when we adopt this path, you choose a totem spirit and gain its feature. You must make or acquire a physical totem object. At your option, you gain a minor physical attribute that are reminiscent of your totem spirit. And we are going to get... At level 15, we'll have all of the features of this subclass. You don't have to always pick the same ones. If you want to cherry pick and go bear, You want to go Totem Spirit Bear, Aspect Eagle, and Totemic Attunement Wolf. You can. I don't know, your DM, I would imagine, would allow it. But if not, you got to talk to your DM or consider your options. So let's see. If she's this bounty hunter, while raging, you have resistance to all damage except psychic. While you're raging and aren't wearing heavy armor, other creatures have disadvantage on opportunity attacks against you. And you can use the dash action as a bonus on each of your turns. The spirit of the eagle makes you into a predator who can weave through the fray with ease. Or the wolf, while you're raging, your friends have advantage on melee attack rolls against any creature within 5 feet that is hostile to you. I don't know if she's like the leader of a pack in that sense. You know, if we're making this character, we're making her an individual to be believed. I think the mobility works really well with the eagle. Oh, you all right, Derek? Yeah, have a great night. Thanks for hanging out with us. It's always a pleasure to have you here. And Delcorin arrives. Welcome. So I'm kind of, sort of thinking that her totem spirit is going to be the eagle. The DR for Bear is interesting. She would be Bear the Bounty Hunter, wouldn't? We can make her Bear the Bounty Hunter. Tell me I can't do it. First thing in new places, note the locations. Redemption. Someone I love died in a mistake I made. That seems like someone who's very kind of duck and weavy. But if you have a suggestion, let me know. Alright, that's the totem spirit. Now we have our aspect of the beast. Gain a magical benefit based on the totem animal of your choice. Gain the might of a bear. Your carrying capacity is doubled. And you have advantage on strength checks made to push, pull, lift, or break. You gain the eyesight of an eagle. You can see up to 1 mile away with no difficulty. Able to discern even fine details as though looking through something no more than 100. That might do it because she is very observant. Or wolf, you gain the hunting sensibilities of a wolf. You can track other creatures while traveling at a fast pace. And you can move stealthily while traveling at a normal pace. She's not the best at stealth, even though it is part of her job. I would almost say eagle on this one. Again. Oh, Coffee, you think wolf sounds good for her? I can see wolf for her. I can. That's what I'm going to insinuate until I remembered we've been spotted in the same room at the same time. But we've never spoken at the same time, says Delcorin. Bear, wolf, bear might be interesting, says Elbrun. Diadem says meh on the awoo. Well, I mean, I'm just keeping it as a placeholder by eagle. We could erase it and say bear or wolf if you want. We are going to then get Spirit Walker at level 10. You can cast the Commune with Nature spell, but only as a ritual. When you do so, a spiritual version of one of the animals you chose for the totem spirit or aspect of the beast appears to you to convey the information you seek. And then lastly, oh, pardon me, who out there is yawning? One of you is yawning at your monitor, and it's affecting me. We have Totemic Attunement. At 14th level, you gain magical benefit based on the totem of an animal of your choice. So, bear, while you're raging, any creature within 5 feet of you that's hostile to you has disadvantage on attack rolls against targets other than you or another character. While raging, you have the flying speed equal to your current walking speed. That's pretty good. Benefit works only in short bursts. Okay. Wolf, while you're raging, you can use a bonus action on your turn to knock a large or smaller creature prone when you hit with a melee weapon attack. Ooh. So while raging, a kind of free trip attack. That's pretty good. But she's gone eagle so far. I think giving her a flying speed could be very interesting. I'm gonna put eagle because the thought of a flying halfling barbarian who's a bounty hunter absolutely makes my evening. Yeah, and of course, these are just three broad categories. You could say instead of eagle, it could be a hawk, it could be whatever. Instead of a wolf, you could say it's a velociraptor because you're playing a Chultan character in Tomb of Annihilation. It's enough to get the gist of the intended mutation adoption of natural aspects. Cool. So now we have a barbarian. The only other outstanding form of business is instead of taking traditional stat bumps at 4, 8, and 12, she is going to get... she's 15, so she doesn't get that fourth one. All three of her stat bumps have been replaced by feats. And so, ladies and gentlemen, let's give her some feats before we calculate the final scores. Would be thematically better. Yeah, I can agree with that, Elbrin. Oh, come on. I'm not tired. I'm not going to fall asleep on camera, but someone out there is yawning. Elbrin, you think Charger, Dual Wielder, and Alert? When you use your action to dash, you can use a bonus action to make one melee weapon attack or to shove a creature. Move at least 10 feet in a straight line. Immediately before taking this bonus action, you either gain a +5 bonus to the attack's damage roll, or push the target up to 10 feet away from you. I got you, Fluffy. +1 bonus to AC while you're wielding a separate melee weapon in each hand. You can use 2-weapon fighting, even when the one-handed melee weapon you're wielding aren't light. You can draw or stow 2 one-handed weapons. That would be a good one. I wouldn't go dual wielding. She needs a shield, says Fluffy. So Elbrin's saying, or dual wielder alert. You +5 bonus to initiative. Hey, the initiative is going to be big, and that would allow her to get the drop on it, and then she gets advantage on it. You can't be surprised while you're conscious, and other creatures don't gain advantage on attack rolls as a result of being hidden from you. Oh, that'll be good for being a bounty hunter. I like that one. That's a good recommendation. Alert could be a very good one here for a bounty hunter. Hey, Technotron, be well. And the Technotron, I want to talk to you to see, well, I don't know if you're free tomorrow evening but maybe tomorrow evening we can have you on in order to talk about some tips and tricks. I don't remember if we had set up an official day and time just yet, but I would love to have you on, and let's just kick back and talk and share ideas and swap stories. Ooh, pardon me. Yep, Tech is a guest. I don't know. I was thinking medium armor master could be a good one, because then we can give her a high dex and it would work out for offense and defense. Mobile could be cool. Give her some extra movement. I mean, observant seems like a default good one. I mean, because really observant is it's not as good as lucky in its sort of generic application, but it is a really solid one. She is pretty quick and can fly, yeah. Resilient, the chosen ability score by 1 to a maximum of 20. You gain proficiency in saving throws. You know where that could work, actually? If we make her resilient. If she has to ever hunt down... if she has to hunt down mages or magic users, we could make her resilient with, like, a wisdom saving throw. And so that way she has strength and con. She kind of has dex. And then we could give her a wisdom saving throw to try and fight off the, a majority of magical effects. Not all, but a majority of them. For Mordecai, I dislike that the only half feats are resilient and actor. Ah, yeah. Well, so she'd be a little bit more better rounded out then, Fluffy. Depending on where we put the stats. Martial Adept could be a good one too, because we can get these battle maneuvers. You could take +1 charisma and something else, and then resilient there. Sentinel would be a good one for a bounty hunter. Right? You catch someone, freeze, and you hit them and they stop moving. I like Sentinel. Yeah, Sentinel. Hey, Plunder Loot, welcome. Let's give her Alert, Sentinel, and then we'll give her Resilient. And then we'll put that Resilient, we'll put that one in Wisdom. And give her Proficiency. Mounted combat might be interesting if her mount were something interesting, like, say, a Displacer Beast. Yeah, you know what, Elbrin? That might make for a very good adventure. For us to go through and to make a team that's mobile, right? They're mounted combatants. Maybe it's a troop of knights. Maybe it's it's something where all of them are travelers by trade. They're used to being around animals and the like. And it'd be kind of like when we challenged ourselves to make a party of bards, and yet every bard was still different despite being a bard. I had a lot of fun. In fact, the band name that we made for this party of bards was called the Healing Words. And the Healing Words technically exist in the Tuesday game. They're out there singing and touring and doing their thing. So you know, all the young ladies have Ugu eyes for the Healing Words, which is a band of bards out of Aslandia, which is a northern desert area that has been taken over by high elves. The centipede swarms are the bane of my RNG. I swear I've never beaten one. Jedi, I've had centipede swarms kill off several parties. And here they aren't even necessarily lethal, but they're tough for level 1 characters. For Mordecai, I plan to take Observant at level 12, which will bump his Wisdom to +2, and take Expertise and Perception. Ah. Very observant then. So here, to reflect that, you got to start injecting yourself with Luciferase. Like, just put it right on your eyeballs, man. Just, I mean, you got to go for it right now. He ended up having to go to bed, so he probably left it open in a tab, but he's probably laying down right now. They can be, but you know what? We're going to go into stats next because, you know, your feats are going to influence what we have going on here. And so if we end up going, you know, how would you like to spread this out? We could do, that one should be down here. If we did a 15, $14, $13, $12, 10, 8. If we spread it out like this, where we have, I mean, her strength is a 15, and there's not much in our own bubble of character building, our own, you know, workshop. We're building this character not to be optimal for a Curse of Strahd or something like that. If we did this, that would mean that we could, at level 16 and at level 19, we could round up her strength to be 16 and her con to 14. Then we could round out her wisdom if we really wanted to be a 14 and a 12. And so she's a very well-rounded character. And considering the fact that she can reckless attack, and she's probably going to be doing so anyway, having, you know, not the highest strength isn't necessarily a problem with a barbarian. You know, is she an optimal barbarian? No. She's not an optimal barbarian, but I think that she reflects who she is as a character, as an urban bounty hunter. Elbrin, you're thinking more on this. 15 strength, 12 dex, 14 con, 8 int, 13 whiz, and 12 charisma. Yeah, we do get that extra +1 in charisma. Fluffy Puppy's in desperate need of a game of fetch, so back in a bit. All right. Oh, and by the way, Fluffy, I hope you like that that picture of the doggo cosplaying as a sheep. I think she's pretty optimal, being a 90-odd-year-old halfling barbarian. Well, you got to remember, Jedi, being 90 years old, she's an adult. I mean, she might as well be 30, 35 in human years. So if we do this, again, we're thinking, you know, she doesn't want to meet an unnatural end. And we're thinking for a character that she's going to move on and really round herself out. She's made something of herself. So for the build, this is going to be a very awkward time until we hit next level, and we can drop in Strength and Con into her, Strength and Con into her into her character sheet, and then at level 19 as our sort of our capstone to get a 13 Wiz and a 12 Charisma, if we wanted to. I mean, if we're happy with a 0 and a +1. Okay, that's just how it worked out, and then we can dump another 2 in strength, and we're going to be sitting at a respectable 18 strength. But this is giving us some options. All right, so 2, 3, 1, -1, 1, and 0. You're like, yeah, level 15, look at that. Well, don't forget, too, your ability score mods are important.
All right.
Oh, snap. Nerdalopedia, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're just finishing up a character creation for our party of uncommon background characters, and then we're gonna pop open a case of Storm King's Thunder for Jedi, and then we'll take a break. And if you want to stick around, it's Friday night. Let's have some fun. Maybe we can play some Jackbox games together. All the faces. Doing very well. Thank you, thank you. JM Von Cat. Oh, we have another cat in here. Gotta head. All right, so I guess we're gonna go back down to one cat now. Gotta head off to bed because you work in the morning. All right, Tracy, be well, and thank you for making that emote. Through BTTV, and one day when we get partner, Dagnabbit, we'll move this emote into being a Twitch one. But through BTTV, take a look at the new emote that we're gonna have here. All right, so we have this. Everything's been added in. Our saving throw is going to be 7 on a strength, 2 athletics, 3 down the line. Con is going to be 6, 3 down the line in dex for saves and skills. We're going to just copy and paste this -1. Look, she grew up on the streets. She don't talk so good, but she'll find you if you're hiding, because she's had to hide herself. 6 for the proficiencies and 1 for the others. And then 0 down the line, except where we specialize in intimidation and persuasion. Which, by the way, if you're ever making a character, I do want to encourage you. It's fine if you have a dump stat. Like, in this case, like, charisma and intelligence aren't our best right now. But if you still make a proficiency in it, so you're not universally good at all the skills there, but you can be singularly good. If we gave her investigation, she'd have a +4, and that's really respectable. Especially compared to a -1 and everything else. So she would be capable at investigating. She may not know the names of the leaves at the crime site, right? At the crime scene. She couldn't tell you the name of the seeds that the serial killer left in the. This is from Deadly Premonition. The seeds that the killer left in the mouth of the victim, or she may not know the shape of the origami that was left behind by the origami killer in heavy rain, because maybe she doesn't have knowledge nature. She's like, I don't know, it looks like folded paper. Is it a crane? Sure, I guess. Hey, the model came in. Yeah, Nemi, I saw you posted a picture. That was the four-arm demon mini that you had a friend 3D print for you. That's great. If you need any more, you know who to PM. Indeed, Coffee Cat. I have you on speed dial, my friend. Is that a thing anymore? Even, right? Speed dial. You knew that you meant someone to you meant someone to someone. or something to someone if you were on their speed dial list. And of course, you got 10 speed dials. And so where are you on the list? Uh-huh. Those were the days, huh? Her passive perception is 16, 10 plus her perception. Actually, wait, alert. No, that was observant. But an alert is a +5 to initiative. And our initiative is a dex check, so it's actually going to be an 8. Armor class, if we're not wearing armor, it's going to be 14. But we can wear medium armor, and we can wear a shield. If we did so, depending on the armor, I mean, we're this level 15 character, we could presume. But she could be around the 16, 17, maybe 18 mark, depending if you have a breastplate or something. So for a character like this, that can be very, modular, I'm going to put question marks for AC because this may be the case where we have an armored barbarian, and having an armored barbarian is fine. She also has earned a name. We've manifested her. And so let's give her a name. We've pretty much done everything else then. She doesn't have spells. I mean, we have some spells here because she's not a spellcaster, but she can invoke magics through her totem path. But she's pretty well finished with the exception of, do we want to give her some sort of a signature weapon? Do we want to give her a whip? Do we want to give her, going a great weapon isn't the best because those are large weapons, and she's a small girl, and so halflings don't do so well with two-handed greatswords. But she can go kind of sword and board with medium armor. Nothing wrong with that. Simple. She could take something like a light crossbow. She'd actually be a pretty decent shot, right? And then of course she has her javelins, which are strength based. Tis what it is. Chain shirt and a shield. Yeah, so a chain shirt would be the chain shirt is heavy armor, and she can't wear that with proficiency. But that would be a 60. That'd be an 18 if she has a chain shirt and a shield. Nemi says, by the way, this thought came to my sleep last night. The Discord group needs to be made D&D world worthy of Maddie praise. So what do you mean by that, Nemi? Jedi says, Lonan the Barbarian. Wah, wah, wah. We'll check it out real quick. Chapter 5 is equipment. Medium. Oh, there is a chain shirt. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was looking at chain mail. There is a chain shirt that's 13 plus dex mod. I mean, if she goes up to a breastplate that's 14 plus dex mod max 2, and she doesn't have disadvantage on sneaking around, and if she's not concerned with sneaking around, she could get half plate, which is 15 plus dex mod, but she has disadvantage on stealth. And then, of course, we can talk about the weapon that she'd use. She can wield anything we want to give her. If we give her a shield, then we're going to want something one-handed. I don't know, fighting with like a whip and a shield would be very interesting. She's not proficient in stealth, so half plate would be a really good choice by 15th level. Yeah. And if she ever needed to, she could take it off. She still has the residual 14 currently, although that would go up to a 16 AC. A 16 AC if she was wearing no armor. She's this makes an even better sort of urban bounty hunter. She could be a plainclothes bounty hunter, right? She's walking down the street and whatever, in like jeans and a tank top on like a hot summer night in the big city. And she rolls up and she's like, hey guys, what's going on here? Throw some dice because she's proficient. and you know, she ingratiates herself with the gang. She goes in there, bada boom, she arrests everyone. Yeah, there's a fight, but she doesn't need armor or a shield necessarily, because she's just that tough. She'll catch a punch to the abs, and then just like break the person's fist by clenching up the old tum. Nemi, simple version. While I was dreaming, an idea came to me, so I believe since this is a workshop group, we should build a homebrew D&D world worthy of your praise. So Nemi, I like that idea. It's kind of been done in so much that the Tuesday game takes place in a campaign setting that we made on channel. But I will show you a little bit of digital ankle. And I'll tell you that there is a project in the works kind of similar to that, Nemi. I haven't really talked about it, but there is something. There is something. A leather cap for her would be a leather storm cloak. Verbane says Donkeykin. Well, maybe if they polymorph the donkey that they have in their party on Tuesdays. Donkeykin are not well, they're not on the radar currently. I guess they always could be. But I can promise you that some homebrew races. And when I say that, please don't cringe and be like, he's going to make these completely overpowered and horrible. You know, the idea is to make playable, fun races that are unique in their own niches. Well, I mean, hopefully generally applicable, but you know, they'll have a niche in the setting. But I don't want to get into the details just yet. I don't want to create undue expectation until I'm ready to explore it and talk about it. But stay tuned. And of course, when I get this sailing campaign going, that's going to be an area of our own making as well, Nemi. So I appreciate the input. You are definitely on the right path in your dreams there. A Mechromancer. Well, hey, if you're over on the Discord, but you could let him know about that. Nemi, why are you upset? We're resonating. That's an excellent idea, and I'm very happy that you want to see the channel continue to grow. There's just details about that confirmation that I can't share just yet. Hit points. At first level, we get all 12. During our 14 other levels, we get half plus 1 of our hit dice, so that's going to be 7. Then at the end of things, all 15 levels, we get bonus hit points equal to our Constitution modifier. Now, at level 16, if we bring her Constitution up to 2, you, on that level up, are going to get to add 16 hit points to her total. Because now there are 16 character levels of +2 as your con mod. So it's sort of a floating number. So if you ever do increase your Constitution in future sessions, remember that. Or if it's ever decreased for some reason, like some undead might decrease it or attack you. Alright, so we have 15 plus 12 is 27. 14 times 7, that's 21, so that's 91. That's going to be 98, 118. She has 118 hit points at level 15. Do what you gotta do, Nemi. Zavelli? I'm not familiar with that. What is that, Diadems? So yeah, aside from, well, she needs a name, but we pretty well have a complete character. There's a couple blanks to fill in, but it's going to be contextual to the story that we're going to develop. You know, this adventure, this outline. And you know what? I really want to make a dungeon or a dungeon or two in our following sessions, in order to really put these 4 explorers, these ruin explorers, if you will, maybe those who hunt elves. and give them a good time.